biggity, 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 boom.
Well, hello again, and welcome back to the Enterprise Content Show. I'm Will, I'm still your host, and I'm still the captain of Content Chaos. And today we're turning the heat up. So it's a part one of a two-part series, is what's already happened. And that was about what intelligent document processing is and where it already is delivering value. Now, our magicians will make this link happen somewhere. So if you click that, you can watch part one. But part two is getting more specific. We're getting into some real industries. So we'll be looking at retail, healthcare, and legal today. So whether you have a legal department or you're in the legal business, we've got some really interesting examples. And I love our retail and healthcare examples in this episode too. Who's providing the real insight? It's the one and only RJ, co-founder of Klippa, an engine builder, a document whisperer, and an all-round intelligent document processing evangelist. Lovely human, very smart. And RJ is going to be taking us through some of those practical use cases and thinking about like what happens when you stop sampling documents and you start checking everything. Like, what is the power of the machine to really help drive compliance at scale? And what does that look like when machines and humans are working together to get the best of both? So what does that human in the loop process look like? And what happens when IDP becomes part of the platform? So not just another tool, but when you have this power of intelligent document processing working for you everywhere. So RJ, welcome back. And people, let's get into it. Thank you. Tell us a story from the world of retail or healthcare, or pick another vertical. Like, what have you seen that you genuinely thought, that's cool, I'm proud of that, like I helped make that happen and that's really cool?
There's many. So retail and healthcare both. We have really cool cases. So well, let's say in the US we help a very big television manufacturer. So I always like the background story, right? So when you're a TV manufacturer, you make deals with companies like the Best Buy and the Walmart, and they pay them. Let's say the TV manufacturer pays $10 million a year to be able to put the TV that they want to have on promotion in a certain height in the shelf.
Yeah.
And they say, yeah, okay, for all the stores that you have, they need to be on this height, but not next to that brand, because we don't want to be compared to that brand. So you have to put that on the other side. So there's these deals kind of that they do behind closed doors. But then, how do you check whether that TV is actually on display there and not on the other side of the and all these stores, right? So they have people walking around. So they hire people to go to all these stores once a quarter and to make like a physical layout and write down what is where. And super inefficient, of course, because this person spends 2 hours per store to make like a whole floor plan of where everything is. So they came to us with that problem statement. And we help them build an application that bolts into Salesforce, because Salesforce is often the place where all the data is stored. That the person, instead of making like a physical map and then queuing it into Salesforce, take their mobile app, walk around, snap all the price tags. So we know exactly, we create like a virtual floor map by just checking the price tags and seeing which washing machine, which microwave is where. So that's a huge efficiency gain. And if you walk into in Amsterdam, right? So if I'm in the US and I walk into a Best Buy and then you see that happening in front of you, that's like, wow, it's so cool that we can help make this business more efficient. And now they can, instead of do 2 store visits a day, they can do 10.
That is incredible. So 5x the capability on a daily basis. They can do 10 instead of 2. Incredible.
Yeah, exactly. Not sure how much time we have, but healthcare.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We love the stories. Keep rolling. Let's go.
I can talk for a few hours, so I'm not sure how long this podcast is intended to take.
I'll just go and get a cup of tea and come back, and you can keep going.
3 hours later.
You triggered me with healthcare because I think that's one of the coolest industries I like to work in, because you really see the impact on healthcare, and if we gain efficiency there, we actually have more people on the beds, right? And that's what you want. Now you see hopefully you're not often in a hospital, but what you see there is so much admin burden for all these people working there, and that's so sad to see, because they shouldn't be behind a computer logging stuff. They should be talking to the
100%.
patients, right? And anything we can do there is, for me, a personal motivation more than only a business motivation. So beautiful cases we've done there where there is, let's say, blood sampling stations where people arrive with their what do you call it, like a prescription from a GP, and they need to get their urine or blood tested, and everything is on structure, right? So the doctor just writes down vitamin D check, blood, and then whatever ferrosis on urine, just in their own format. And they always thought, the blood sampling stations, that this is impossible to do for a computer, because one, it's handwritten, and two, one doctor can write vitamin D and the other can say just VD, and we're implied to know what it is. And the people working there, they know what it means because they've done this for a long time. But we actually managed to crack that code now with the modern day capabilities of large language models and just machine learning training in general, that any prescription that comes in, we can understand who's the patient, who's the doctor, what's the date, is it legit, not fraudulent, but also what are the exams need to be performed. And so we can already do 60%, we got straight through, so we know that it's good and nobody has to look at it. So at a given blood sampling station, normally there would be 3 people at the front desk just processing these prescriptions, saying to people, you can now go into the waiting room. And the same thing which applied to that cargo case before. Now people book a meeting, they get requested to upload the prescription, and when they arrive, they know that already everything is checked. They can sit in the waiting room and they can go straight to the sampling room rather than going to that front desk first. And now they went on average from 3 people to average 1 person, and the other 2, one on average became like a blood sampler, so more efficiency, and the other is often a hostess. So, hey, welcome, how you're feeling? Welcome to a blood sampling station. You want a coffee? Which is a way better user experience. So that's another driver you mentioned.
So let's go back to the start. So we've got massive efficiency gain. We've got massive scalability potential unlocked. We've got compliance increased, and we've got enhanced experience. That's a fantastic example. But more importantly, any machine that can understand what the heck doctors scribble when they write down on a piece of paper is a genius machine.
Genius.
So cool that we've got that engine in Doxis, the ai.DP engine, and a really, really, really nice example. Thank you, RJ. Do you have one other example that you just have to share because it's cool, or it's got a big name associated, or there's a powerful unlock that people should be aware of? Or a different way of thinking about it is, what's the weirdest example that you've been approached with to automate something?
Yeah, there's like 10 things that come to mind, so it's hard for me to pick, but we do a lot of cases in gaming, gambling. Like there's a lot of compliance, and but that's less cool or less motivating. You have to imagine cruise lines that have to literally onboard thousands of people every day when they offboard people and onboard, and they want to check their identities. A lot of identity checks going on. So we help them with that kind of stuff. Disease administration. So every corporate has to deal with administration of disease. They often have a desk for that as well. But we can highly automate that part as well. But I think one industry that I also like to point out is legal. So there's a lot of paperwork and inefficiency in legal. Of course, when it comes to administration on a case. But one thing that's, I wouldn't say weird, but maybe more that you wouldn't expect, is we do a lot of cases on cartel damage claims. So cartel damage, 2 companies work together, they make pricing arrangements, and there's people that are hurting from that. Okay, so there's a cartel in Germany that was penalized for doing price arrangements on pesticides. So there's 3 companies selling pesticides to farmers, and they made illegal pricing arrangements. So they get fined for that, tens of millions for all these companies, and they move on with their lives because they're the only ones selling the pesticides. But then the farmers, they get together and they are incentivized by a legal firm to say, let's all come together and get our money back. So then the the law firm is collecting proof that all these farmers pay too much for their pesticides. And how are you proving that you pay too much? What do you look at? An invoice. So from all the farmers in Germany, they collected 10 years of invoice records about all their purchases from certain wholesalers. And the idea was, from all these invoices, we need to only grab the pesticides and the price that they paid for it. And we're going to make an assumption like how much was it in total. All the farmers together that we're representing paid 100 million euros on pesticides. On average, it was 20% too much because they made pricing arrangements. So we're going to claim back 20 million. And they realized, wait, now suddenly we have to also work our way through 100 million invoices. And they know that if the defending party picks out one invoice and says, hey, you said it was 100 euros here, but it actually paid 80 euros, the whole case goes to bust because it has to be 100% correct. Such cool. And there's so many cases of cartel damage. And every time that there's a cartel damage fine, we try to find a law firm who's working on it. So we know, because it's always documents to check, whether it's on diesel scandals or whatever, there's always, they need to collect proof, read it out, and then put it in a structured manner before they present it to court.
Amazing example. Truly stopped me in my tracks there. And also makes me think, in popular culture, it's like, I've got the receipts, or she's got the receipts, or like with IDP, we truly do have the receipts, right? Like no archive is too great, no complex bag of unstructured information is too vast for this technology. So it's kind of changing these fields. That's what you're saying, like the field of this large scale legislation or these class action suits are actually being changed because you can now at scale rapidly and efficiently process a ton of paperwork. That has quite profound implications, I think, for civilization.
Yeah, I think it's hopefully you motivate people here to also look at their business and think, hey, either where do I have a desk or a number of people working on repetitive tasks, and maybe I can help them make their work nicer and more value adding. And on the other hand, indeed, are there archives or records that don't have insights in? Because you might have an archive in Doxis with a bunch of records of people, and you don't even know whether there is personal information in there via ai.DP. So you might want to check the entire batch, maybe redact all the personal information or delete all those records. You can now do it all automatically, right? You don't need a human scanning through those files, or maybe only the exemptions, but the majority can then be automatically cleaned up. So it's about, do I have people working on something, or do I have an archive or a record somewhere that I don't have insights into? I think those are cases that we love to discuss about and take on.
Talk to us. Talk to RJ. Give us your problem. We'll find a way. So as we cast our eye to the future, RJ, we're flying along in our Chinook, wallowing and diving through the valleys of intelligent document processing. What can we see on the horizon? What are we heading towards? Like, what's keeping you and the geniuses that you co-founded Klippa with, like, what's keeping you excited and interesting? What's happening next on this journey?
So I'm a techie by nature, so I'm thinking about what is the next technological advancement. And one thing that we used so far, and the technology what it was capable of so far, was mostly generic models. So you have a model that can do invoices, but has a certain limitation, right? So you're always aiming for 95%, but you never get to 100 because there's just too much variation. There's always this one exemption. But I think the cool thing is also with Doxis IDP, we can make custom models on your custom data, and it's so easy nowadays, or so much easier to train a model that's tailored for your use case, for your data. So we can take everything that's already in your historic data, train a machine just for that application, then deploy it for that task, rather than there is a problem, we throw a generic solution for it, which already works 90%, but now we can throw a tailored solution at it, so that it works actually maybe 100% or 110%, because it can only do as much as a human, but better, because it can also do fraud detection and things that a human cannot do at scale. So
that's wild. You just said 110%, and I just had this involuntary chuckle inside my body. I'm like 110%. Like there are truly new frontiers, is what you're saying, and I love how you connect it back to our customers. Hopefully, the people who are watching this, which is you have, if you work with Doxis IDP, Doxis ai.DP, Doxis, if you work with enterprise content management, you have your archive, you have your documents, you have the ability, working with us, to develop custom models that really have learned from your information, and that's where the next frontier is, if I'm understanding you, RJ.
Exactly, because back in the day, or like a few years ago, you would think like, oh yeah, accounts payable makes sense, right? Because all the businesses have invoices, models can do it. But if you're on a specific industry with a specific case and you're designing a machine which outputs a certain record, you might think like, yeah, but there's nothing that can read that because it's either handwritten or complex. Then I'm inviting you to nowadays test out what we can do if we can use your data to train a model and then can deploy it for your case, so that you will see that it outperforms a human.
Very, very cool. Okay, good. We'll just keep on rolling. Well, RJ, that was fantastic once again. Thank you. And I hope everyone here really enjoyed it. We talked about scale, we've talked about compliance, human in the loop models, and what really happens when what we call intelligent document processing moves from theory into everyday operations. Because that's what we do at Doxis. We're helping you run your operations better, smarter, leaner, more efficient. And I just love how practical this area is. It's not about hype and buzzwords. It's real lessons from the field, from RJ and all the customers that we've worked with. To everyone watching or listening, if part 2 sparked ideas or questions or a few, wow, we still do that manually moments, then do us a favor, and you know the drill. Like it, share it, subscribe, and please ask us questions. We'd love to hear them. And if you haven't watched part 1 yet, that's your next stop. You can find the link right here. RJ, thank you very much. You and the team are absolute legends. And to everyone else, we will see you in the next episode of the Enterprise Content Show.